Hey guys, it's Alexander Williamson here with The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. Today we are looking at the Nanochromis Consortus, and they are for the first time spawning, or at least doing their mating rituals. They've not done this yet, in front of me anyways. I just did a 50% water change on this 50-gallon system. And I'm going to try to get closer, but they are very skittish, so I'm going to kind of give them a little bit of space. But they are a very beautiful fish. And you'd think that they would have a mating ritual very similar to perhaps a pelvicochromis cribensis or something like that. But they don't. They're actually, it's very interesting. They're going through tight spaces, and the other one mimics it, and then they swim in reverse, which is an odd thing to see anyways. And then you see the typical tensing up of the stomach and curling and the jittering that you'll see in many fish. But they literally are following each other all over the tank, and then they kind of make contact, and the male seems to be chasing after the female less than in other species. Like in the other species, the females will jitter. In cribensis species, Tiniatus pulcher, and the giant cribensis, for instance, they will shake and shimmy. The female will, and then the male will come after them and kind of inspect, like, what's going on, what are they doing. In this species, which is from Central Africa, and not from the Rift Lakes though, but it's from the river valleys in Central Africa, in the Republic of Democratic Republic of Congo and the Central African Republic. In the main large deep rivers, any of those that have the side tributaries that then are very oxygenated water, and then vegetation, as well as banks with holes and rocks and things like that in them, they'll be found. But the cribensis live in more stream-like conditions, even smaller than like a creek or a side river. They live in slower water. These guys are very streamlined for high-speed water, and the power head in this tank, or actually the outflow for the water, is very strong. It's probably equal to a 500 power head, somewhere between a 250 and a 500. But it's just interesting because clearly in their habitat, they're used to lots of obstacles. And so instead of just having one cave where they simply are hiding, and the female will jitter and then try to get the male to follow her into the cave over and over again, this couple seems to utilize the entire tank. So they swim the entire tank, and they are interested in using caves, but there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to which cave or what so far. So far, they've gone into every cave in the place, plus also they've seemed to be really interested in the corners. So I don't know if that's just because the two of them can kind of defend and look out for anything in a corner, or what, but they stop and they kind of decide to eat and hang out and just, I don't know, enjoy each other's company, sort of. And then they'll see that they both slid sideways. They both turned sideways and just kind of fluttered on their side, oddly. So they play this like copycat game, which is just really cool. And their colors aren't getting a ton brighter. I mean, if I were right up there, we'd see yellows a lot more. The white on the male's fins are definitely showing a lot more. But the color is staying fairly consistent. Maybe a little more purple in the bellies, is what I would say. Um, but it's a very cool thing to watch, and it's seemingly been going on quite a while. The yellow under their throat is what also I've noticed is getting color, and you can see that they're rubbing. So that female there was rubbing up underneath the throat of the male, and it looks like she's doing that again a little bit. So it's just, to me, it's just interesting that fish that are in a similar family of species and then they're in a similar area uh, act so differently, that they would have these complex mating behaviors that are so different. So I just wanted to share some of this with you guys. They seem to do this for a little while and then they'll find a spot, like I said, to bed down. So they may have gone back into the Logonandra plant over there, or they might be looping back around. I don't know where they will end up. But they do this thing where they kind of curl up together also. So you'll see the male and female both have a I guess I don't know the proper terminology in this fish, but sort of like a gonopodium or a gravid spot. It's basically a little port, a little bump on their belly near their anus that is you can see is swollen right now. So that is similar in like an angelfish or other fish like that. But I don't feel like they've established anywhere in the tank that's literally their, their spot, where they're ready to have babies. So that's another odd thing about this is I feel like if this is the foreplay to the mating ritual, that they really don't have a cave worked out yet, and I'm excited to see, do they pick a cave somewhere randomly at the last minute, or is this going to go on for a long time and they'll figure out a cave before they're done with it all? Again, just to differentiate, and before we get out of here, I won't make this super long, but the males have pointier fins than the female. You can see they just kind of lined up there side by side, and they lined up that little bump. You can see the little white bump right there on the male, and see the female has more rounded fins on the caudal fin, or the tail fin has a little more pointiness to it, and the on the males, that is, and the very tip of the dorsal fin has a point to it, slightly more, where it's a little bit rounded on the female. And then the biggest tell, though, really is the big old belly, the marble sized belly on the female. Although the male does also have quite the belly in this instance. I don't know. It seems like he's puffed it up for the purpose of looking attractive for her. It's not, he doesn't usually carry himself like that. He's usually a fairly slender little fish. Also of note is that the little Hebrosus corridoras are spawning right now, and then the Corridora Aeneas also spawned, and they had eggs on the glass earlier. You can probably make out some of the eggs on the glass, but they've also been eating, or other fish, the gourami predominantly, has been eating that, as well as the jellybean tetras. I have enough of them right now, spawning out, growing out, so I'm not too worried about it. But definitely the honey gouramis and the dwarf powder blue gourami like to eat their eggs. So it's interesting. The pheromones they're releasing in the water, the hormones and chemicals, that's very common. You've probably seen the other videos I've done where I've shown that. And now we have the couple all the way on the other side. So here's the guilty faces. And it looks like the male takes the lead usually. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. You see that rounded tail she has on her. Her caudal fin is also a little shorter, but they're just going to follow each other around, and I guess nothing too exciting is going to happen yet, but they do have another set of caves over there. So that's probably what they're playing with, is that they've got another terracotta little igloo type cave over there, similar to this one, but much, much smaller. So they have a long set of pleco caves of 2 different varieties, and then they have a cholla wood that's hollow, and then they have some ledges to hide under. So we'll see what they pick. I guess they could also pick a plant, a sword plant, in their natural habitat. I guess you'd probably see mostly bulbitis and kind of reeds or cattails, along with probably some sort of elodia or, you know, micrantha of some sort of water milfoil type thing, as well as the anubias and some of the fern, the Hedulata bulbitis plants in their habitat. So it's interesting. I did a very cold water change this time, which was almost 10 degrees colder. So a 50%, it probably dropped the water temperature about 4 to 5 degrees in the tank when I did it. So, you know, and that's over the course of maybe 15 minutes as I ferried buckets back and forth to do the water change by hand. So just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you find it a little bit interesting. I always love to watch their mating rituals, different fish. It's when you see, oh, now you're getting a little bit nippy. That's the first I've seen of that. Now they're kind of playing chicken, where they're kind of ramming and then diverting right at the last second. So, interesting fish, definitely, and I will keep you guys posted and film again if there's something really interesting going on. Keep posted if you want to see these guys, what their eggs, their fry, and all that jazz looks like. He'll probably follow her down there if he's still in the mood. Or let's see, is that the she? It's hard to tell from straight on, actually, which is which. But I think that the male is the one who's generally taking the lead. And see, it's almost like they're cats or something. They lead they're definitely rubbing some sort of scent onto different surfaces. And then the other one will come join and check it out or kind of mouth it. So I don't know what's going on there. If you guys do, I would love to know more about it. And also, I've raised the tannin level in the water here, so that's another thing that could be affecting why they've chosen to do this now. They definitely spot me, and I think they're a little preoccupied. I'm kind of messing up their party here. So I'm going to back off again and let them do their thing. But thanks for watching, guys. You can check out things in the links below, like where I got these fish, discount codes, and all sorts of stuff. And again, this is the Nanochromis, not the Pelvicochromis, but the Nanochromis Costus. And online, when you look at pictures, never do they seem this pretty. But they are a really pretty fish, and they move very interestingly. Lots of personality, and I highly recommend checking them out, as well as all the other Nanochromis. Honestly, they all have different behaviors with mating. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.